Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with Startuptrading.com. It's 9 o'clock in New York, April 8th, 2020, Wednesday. For our economic news events in the overnight session, we had the Eurozone German 10-year bond auction and a 10-year bond auction on the Great Britain pound. Also, Eurogroup meetings day 2. This morning, housing starts out of the Canadian dollar as well as building permits. 10:30, we're going to have crude oil inventories, which obviously will affect the oil market. At 1:01, we're going to have the 30-year bond auction. And then it says tentatively, which means they don't know a time, but apparently the FOMC meeting minutes. I don't know why they don't know what time those are coming out. Great Britain pound, BRICS house price balance at 7 o'clock tonight. And then the Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda will be speaking at 8:30, and then the RBA Financial Stability Review at 9:30. In the overnight session, we're going to have GDP out of the Great Britain pound, and then OPEC meetings tomorrow all day are going to obviously affect oil. And then we're going to have out of the Eurozone, the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. At 8:30, the Canadian dollar is going to have the unemployment rate. And then the unemployment claims for the U.S. markets are going to come after that. They're expecting unemployment claims to come in at 5 million. Last week we had 6.6 million. So tomorrow is definitely a bigger news event day than today. And really we can just be setting up for that. So let's take a look here at these markets. I'm going to start off with the S&P 500. Back out to the daily chart. Now, there's two setups on the day that I consider to be pretty bearish setups that we are going to possibly run into. Now, the more conservative setup here is the full 50% retracement short from the high of 2020 to low. Now, that is a 27.8575. We would still be bearish if we traded up into those levels, because those levels would still have downside targets. Now there is a counter trend trade here. Also, we have the full halfway back from the March 3rd low to high. That's when Powell did the emergency rate cut. And you can see yesterday was the first day we really traded that level. Now we spent the majority of the prior day above that level. Okay, we spent the majority of the prior day above that level, but we closed back below it. We're peaking back above, and usually, if you look back the last time we had that 50% retracement trade from the 2020 high to low, we spent one day at it. There was a second day, it was a double top, and then we rolled over. Now we are moving back into the resistance zone, and what I want to watch here today, what's going to be extremely important, is do we stay below the full 50% retracement for the day? Now, it in fact has not even traded, but I am bearish below 2700 half. If we break above 2700 half, I would then begin looking for longs again, but I fully expect us to at least come down into the full halfway back long from the lows of last week to the high before we found support. We really have not come down into that level. I don't have a known support level that we rallied from here. I'm sure I could pull an extension. I mean, you could also look Sunday night low to high. That's technically the lows. The overnight session are halfway back for the week. But if you guys were here in the trade room yesterday, let me go out to a smaller time frame. After the market had broke down into close, there was a full 50% retracement short from the high of the day to the low at the time. It was aggressively front run, and this is all within the last 15 minutes of the day. We traded the full 50% retracement. It was front run. We completed profit targets, and the low of the overnight session is the target. That target was 26.29. So assuming we're going to get that same 50% retracement here to come into play, and then I just want to mark up the halfway back from yesterday, because that could be a resistance level as well. So the halfway back that was front run, that's always something I like to pay attention to. Yesterday it was 27.50 to the low at the time was 26.52. Okay, that halfway back that never traded went 27.01. It was front run. There's probably resting orders at 27.01. So you have the full 50% retracement from the high to low. That exists at 26.85, and the resistance level above that would be 27.01 quarter. Moving on to the VIX. We'll line that up with the S&P. Now, we were in an extension short in the VIX yesterday, and the break of that extension short was technically considered the trend failure. The 45.90s to lows traded here, and then we ended up breaking. Once we break, you flip the script. Our halfway back long in the VIX has already had its participation on the first test at 42.50s last night. Our second test is going to be coming into play 42.50. That second test, ideally, I would like it to line up with when the S&P is trading this 26.85. We're coming in close. Moving on to the Dow, it's just going to be the same setup. We're going to go out to the daily chart. The full 50% retracement for the March 3rd rate cut to low is 22,573. The full halfway back above, which is still another potential resistance level that we could be running into, is up at 23,812. We're going to go down to the smaller time frame. Coming out of yesterday's high, we rolled over. We're looking for a full halfway back short from the prior day to highs to lows. It's 22,861. The NASDAQ is the one market for me that is pretty different here, because the NASDAQ has actually and totally and completely traded its full 50% retracement short from the 20th. Okay, that's the 2020 high was 2/2020. Believe it or not, 2/2020 was the high of 2020 for the NASDAQ. That's an 81.9575. The NASDAQ is the only index to trade that level. Okay, so that is going to continue to be a resistance level that we respect. If we do get up higher there, it's definitely possible that we move up into another test of that level. But if we are to continue down in a more aggressive sequence, we have yesterday's high to low, and you can see we've already traded that entry once, and then here's the second test at 81.28 quarter. Moving on to oil. Oil has fallen out of the bed yesterday. Into the close, oil has fallen out of the bed. I want to back out and remind you that we are still in shorts, despite the short covering rally we saw last week, where I think a lot of traders got a little excited, thinking maybe the oil, I mean, who knows, maybe the oil lows are in, but we just as quickly as we go up, we have fallen back down here. Now, the 50% retracement short from the March 10th high to the low of the 18th is 28.46. We traded that level once, twice, 3 times going into Friday on the close, and then Sunday night we had the market reopen. Of course, all rumors were denied of an oil deal between Saudi Arabia and Russia, and we began selling ever since then. We had a halfway back long Monday morning that failed. We traded into a halfway back short. That halfway back short traded once, twice, 3 times, and then we started falling from that level. I'm going to take the high of Tuesday to the most recent low and use that as the next resistance level. So far, we have been front run at 25.39. There's also the possibility you could argue that there's an extension from 26.21 to low. Let me see. That is actually broken. So we're going to use the full 50% retracement short from the last traditional Tuesday's high to low, 25.39 as a resistance level. USD JPY, back out here. USD JPY has a full 50% retracement short from the highs of the 24th of March to the most recent swing low of April 1st. That level is a 109.30. We have been rejected off that level. We got rejected off that level on the 6th, and then we have rolled over here. The full 50% retracement short has technically just pierced. We yesterday, going into the end of the day, we were looking at this full 50% retracement short at 108.93. Because we broke above that full halfway back short, that's validating support down here. So we can begin looking for the opposing setup, which is a 108.79 support level. 108.79 is going to be the support I'm looking at here this morning. And then let me see if I can just define where we came off of. Let's see here. I'd have to go to a smaller time frame. There is an extension in the began our move at 107.38. Let's see if that's what we... Yeah, you can make an argument that that was the support we came off of, was the extension from 107.38. But we have validated those upside targets by breaking out of the shorts. It's not a support I would ever have seen in advance, but when you reverse trend, basically we're looking for pullbacks. 108.79. I'm going to set an alert there. I actually like that setup. Moving on to the Aussie dollar. This is straight from the laser setups last night. This is a great reaction. I posted this in the laser setups for the Startup Trading chat room. It was a 61.28 50% retracement entry. Our upside targets are 62.48. It's a 120 pip target. Okay. And then also for the Euro USD, I posted this last night as well. The 108.46 50% retracement. It was the full halfway back here. We had a great reaction off of it. It did initially trade at the European Open. Coming out of the European Open, does look like we've begun a series. You had your first full 50% retracement. That was your second chance to get long. And then there was your second full 50% retracement. This is the last move that has not completed profit target, so I'll currently leave this up. This is on the smaller time frame. Moving on to gold. Gold had a short sequence that has broke. Now, gold does look like it has found some support here at 1672. What we need to do to really confirm the next upside target is actually break out of the full short at 1715. I do think gold is in a consolidation pattern. This is typically just what gold does. Gold goes on super aggressive bull runs and then it consolidates for an extended period of time. Let me go back out to the hourly chart. So we have a super aggressive bull run and then a consolidation. We have a super aggressive bull run and then a consolidation. Well, we had a super aggressive bull run. We're probably going to get a consolidation here. The most important level that I'm interested in is the full 50% retracement from the lows of last week on Tuesday to high. That is a retracement back into the 1660 zone. And I'm going to set an alert like 3 points above that. So like 1664s. Let's go in here at 1664s because I want to be aware when we're coming down into that. These setups on the higher time frame in gold have been really important. So 1664 is a level I'm going to watch. I'm just going to highlight that zone, bring it over for a bit. Boop-de-doo. Cool. All right, and let's move on to silver here. The same thing. I'm looking for the full 50% retracement long in silver, and that doesn't come into play until 1491. So there's nothing really to do there. A couple more currencies. The Great Britain pound USD, I was looking for the full halfway back. We did not get it, but now we're breaking out a short. So I'm going to look for the first test of the low of the day to the most recent high. That's a 123.30, a 123.30 here for the GBP USD. And then the USD CAD just chilling, going to the bottom of the range. If we can crack through yesterday's lows, guys, we're going to begin a pretty quick descent down to a 137.43. Something to keep in mind for this week. Tomorrow in the morning, we're going to have the Canadian dollar unemployment rate and employment change. That is obviously going to move the USD CAD. So there's going to be some positioning going on in the USD CAD, and we are at a pretty critical support level. Let me show you guys. This is an extension that I have up, and if the USD CAD does move higher, there's a lot of room up and there's a lot of room down. I do not know which direction we will go. Obviously, I'm not a telepathic person, but we have a 50% retracement short. I should say psychic. And then our next 50% retracement short is held. So we are holding, as of this week, downside moves in the USD CAD. We've come off a full 50% retracement short, but if the USD CAD starts losing these lows here, I have targets down at 137.43, and we continue to respect the smaller time frame resistance levels in the USD CAD and get sold into. So with that being said, guys, that's going to wrap up my morning trade plan. If you enjoyed this content, please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to share it with somebody who you might think would find it valuable, feel free to go ahead. Just use the YouTube link to share. If you're interested in joining up the Startup Trading chat room, click the link below. I also have a simple course if you're brand new to trading. Everybody take care, trade safe, and I'll see you guys in my chat room.